Previous video we have seen like how an object which is dropped from a height we can calculate the displacement and the height. Here you are having an object, you are going to throw vertically upwards. What if an object is thrown vertically upwards? How far it goes up, I mean how much time it is taking and how much height it attains, all those things. When you throw an object upwards, let me give an example. Some value we will take. Suppose you are throwing the object with a speed of, let us say, 40 meter per second. You are throwing it upwards. Suppose this is the velocity with which you are throwing it. So initially you are giving this velocity to the object. So we call it, the initial velocity is 40 meter per second. Calculate, let us try to calculate what is the maximum height reached. Maximum height reached. What is the maximum height reached? You know, whenever you throw an object, this object will move slowly. I mean, with what speed you are dropping, the object will go up. So it will slowly reduce its velocity. Finally, there will come a point. At that point, this object, finally it will come to rest at the highest point. After that, this object, see, this is the object we have thrown. This is the object you have thrown. If you throw this object, the object will go up slowly and it comes to a momentary rest and then it falls down. And finally, it will come back to the ground at the same point. But for our understanding, let's say that this way. So the object goes up, and the object goes up. And finally, when it reaches the maximum height, the velocity of the object is 0. Suppose you want to find only the maximum height. Here itself you close the problem. So here you are finishing the problem because you want to find the height. At this point, velocity is 0. When you throw an object, you are giving velocity, let us say 40. At the highest point, its velocity become 0. We don't know what is the time taken to reach this point. That time also we don't know. But we also want to calculate the height it reaches. These two things. So what we know is only u and v. So for the upward journey, the journey begins at the ground. So initially it had velocity 40 meter per second, but the velocity is directed upwards. The direction of the velocity is upward. That is why it is going up. At the highest point, the upward journey ends. So at the end of the upward journey, what velocity it has is the final velocity. Its velocity is 0. But who has reduced its velocity from 40 to 0? Why it has lost velocity slowly and it comes to 0? Because gravity value is 10 meter by second square and that is acting downwards. So this 40 meter per second is actually upwards. So this gravity will change its velocity and slowly it will bring it down because gravity is pulling the object downwards. Because gravity pulls the object downwards throughout the motion and the velocity it has lost, and at the highest point it becomes 0. Then it will start returning down because of downward pull of the gravity. So you don't know time it taken to reach the highest point. You know this equation, right? V equal to u plus at. In that, if you know u, v and acceleration, you can calculate time. Initially, what is the speed you have given? 40, but in the upward direction. So velocity is 40 upwards. Plus gravity, acceleration. Once you throw it, you are not giving any acceleration. The earth is giving acceleration downwards. So the value of that is 10 meter per second downwards. And time taken to reach the top, you don't know. And the final velocity at the top is 0. 0 equal to 40. Suppose this is upwards. Let us take upward means 40. Downward means negative. So minus 10t. When minus 10t comes to this side, plus 10t. Plus 10t equal to 40 and t equal to 4 seconds. Suppose if you throw object with 40 meter per second, To reach the highest point, it takes only 4 seconds. And you know the initial velocity 40, final velocity 0, and displacement you don't know. So this displacement is the height. This height is nothing but displacement. You remember this equation? V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. When you look at this, the displacement in the upward journey is called the height of the object, the height reached by the object, the maximum height of the object. So in such case, you know that you have thrown the velocity with 40 meter per second. So initial velocity is 40. The journey ends at the highest point. Final velocity is 0. So it is 0 square, 40 square plus 2 into acceleration is downwards. So it is g downwards, because here the acceleration is acceleration due to gravity. So it is 10 downwards into displacement. 0 square is 0. 40 square is 1600. Because 10 downwards, it is minus 2 into minus 10 is minus 20 into s displacement. So minus 20 is coming to this side, becomes 20s is equal to 1600. Then s means displacement. Displacement is 1600 by 20. When you calculate, it is 80 meters. So the upward displacement is 80 meters, and that is nothing but the maximum height reached by the object. If you throw an object with a speed of 40 meter per second, it will reach a maximum height of 80 meters in 4 seconds.